Hey everyone! So obtaining a lead as an ADC is one thing, knowing how to use it to secure a win is another. In this video, we'll be covering some of the things that you want to do when you're ahead so that you can snowball your advantage and tear through your opponents. Let's get into it. And mission 1 is simple, just keep farming. The entire point of getting ahead on any role is to be able to get more farm than your opponent. When it comes to team fighting, if you're already ahead, staying alive is more important than getting extra damage. This is because your autos are going to one-shot everyone you touch. So staying alive and making sure that you can keep doing that is kind of important. We're going to be asking a fair amount of questions in this video. We suggest pausing to think about them if you need to. This may not seem immediately important, but if you're answering most things correctly, it means you can analyze your own replays very well. Being able to more accurately know what you're doing right and wrong on your own is a great way to expedite your learning. Today, we'll be reviewing Hector smurfing in Platinum Elo. The laning phase for this game went quite well for Ashe and Alistar. They managed to pick up a ton of kills and ended the laning phase with 7 kills on Hector. After taking the tower, he rotates mid to pick up some farm while his Syndra is dead and recalls for his Hurricane. Alright, question time. Where should Hector path after he bases? If you immediately thought bottom, your macro is on point. Malphite is going top and Syndra is pathing mid. Sharing farm is a no-no and Lucian is shoving in a wave that he needs to catch. Not only that, but he can take the Krug camp on his way to bottom as well. As he does Krugs, his team finds Jace lurking in the jungle and they manage to get his flash. Unfortunately, his Kayn also died trying to steal Dragon. Alistar screws up taking his cannon creep and then Syndra dies in the jungle. Lots of sad things are happening all around Hector. And so, with the circumstances, it's quiz time once again. The enemy team is sieging mid with their advantage. Should Hector path through the jungle to defend, or recall and path through mid to defend? Wrong. We didn't say there wouldn't be any trick questions. You absolutely never go mid here. There isn't a world where he gets to mid in time before the tower dies. Why give away an advantage for free? Always remember to try to get an advantage elsewhere whenever the enemy team makes a play. This is referred to as cross-mapping. Despite his 2 dead teammates, with proper decision making, Hector managed to trade evenly on the map. Now he's going to pretend to recall and wait patiently in this bush to look for a pick. It doesn't end up working since Lucian backs off, but this type of play generally ends up being a win-win. By backing off, Lucian is missing farm anyways. Had he kept pushing, he would die and fall behind as well. Either way, this is a solid pick to look for when you're ahead since both outcomes are positive. Okay, let's watch what happens here, then break it down. Alright, not ideal to throw his lead like that. This time, a bit of a different question. Was this a macro or micro mistake? Well, this was definitely a micro mistake. It may seem weird to overstay as an ADC like this, but it was perfectly safe to do since he's so far ahead. They should easily be able to kill everyone here, but a couple of things went wrong. First, Hector should have probably just been safe and flashed the hook, which would guarantee that he kills everyone here since he can just free fire at that point. But he thought his Alistar would combo Jace, not Blitzcrank. Alistar had been playing pretty well so far and he put a bit too much faith in him. Oh well. Hector still has a lead, so after respawning, he heads top to farm, and then happens to find a random Blitzcrank in a bush. This kill is clearly going to set up an easy Rift Herald. He shoves one more wave and joins his team in taking it. Not much to say about the ensuing fight. They already had a numbers advantage and the enemy team was quite uncoordinated. The key point comes after when the fight appears to be over. Since most of the enemy team is heading towards mid, Hector looks top to score an easy tower. Unfortunately, his team randomly dies, putting him in a bit of an awkward spot. This all eventually leads to Hector having to sacrifice his Alistar to stay alive. So, now that you know the outcome of Hector's decision when he went top, what do you think he should have done after taking the Rift Herald? Maybe some of you noticed how that's a bait question, which lets us bring up a huge issue people have when it comes to analyzing games and learning. Don't be a hindsight analyst. After killing Rift Herald, before fully committing to go top, Hector looks at the positioning of both teams. There is absolutely no way you could ever guess that his team would die from this positioning. Both sides have so much ground between them. So of course he's going to go top where he can take tower and continue to farm up. Regardless of the outcome of this decision, it was the correct call. Yes, if he stayed with the rest of his teammates, they don't die with his protection. Then they all go mid and use Herald to break mid tower. Everyone shares local tower gold, so everyone walks away with 100 gold. That is just not how you snowball in low elo. We just want to emphasize how important this is to remember when reviewing your own games. Hindsight or results-based analysis is pointless and just delays how fast you can improve. After the unfortunate events of top lane, Hector looks to go bottom to pick up the spawning Krug camp. Randomly, Twitch happens to be there, so he just waits and kills him easily. Then he finishes taking the wave, Krugs, 2 more waves after that, and Gromp. He just earned himself a lot of gold very quickly. Unfortunately, during his power farming, his team loses a 4v4 near Baron. Just recently, we told you to look for cross-map opportunities in situations like this. Baron is one of the few exceptions to that rule. If you can potentially stop it, we advise that you do so instead of looking for something else. But with no one to use as fodder to block Blitz's hook, Hector just trades his flash so he can go in safely. Losing the Baron sucked, but trading kills for it is usually fine. Once again, he splits from the core of his team. He lets Syndra and Malphite take care of mid, and he goes top. This just earns more overall gold. Singed, probably not used to ADCs that actually deal damage, underestimates Hector's damage and dies, giving a juicy shutdown. Then, as we always recommend, Hector looks to take the enemy Krug camp as well for even more gold. Like we did earlier, let's watch what happens here, then break it down. Alright, that's a big oof. Hector just gave a huge shutdown away. But was this really a mistake? Okay, yeah, it was a massive mistake. Sometimes it really is obvious when you're running it down. He has 4,000 gold to spend, barely any vision in the enemy jungle, and the rest of his team was on the other side of the map. He was being a complete moron. Completely out of character. You should obviously question every mistake, but don't overthink the times that you're obviously feeding. Finally, after being caught most of the game, his team are the ones finding a pick. This leads to an easy Baron secure. Which brings us to this dragon fight. Remember what we said at the start regarding teamfights. Prioritize keeping yourself alive. At the start of the fight, Hector is positioned very far back. The one way that he dies is if Singed uses Flash Fling on him. As long as he waits that out, he should be good. Singed uses his fling, then Hector uses Alistar as a body shield to block Blitz's hook. Once those abilities are down, he just kills everyone since he's free to auto. Like we said, pretty simple. Also, turns out that being really far ahead allows you to turn around assassination attempts easily. Then, just like last fight, Hector prioritizes safety. Going to the fight through here is very dangerous and leaves him exposed to a ton of threats. So he goes around, finds a better angle, and freely auto-attacks into an easy win. By the way, we released some crazy guides over at SkillCapped which are exclusive only to our subscribers. We have over 700 guides covering everything you need to know to rapidly improve. We also send our challengers into Elo Hell every week to see how they climb out of the most extreme scenarios with the worst teammates imaginable. All wrapped up into courses that you can watch right away. Oh, and if you don't significantly improve while using SkillCapped, you get a full refund. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up today and escape Elo Hell. Alright, time for a quick recap. It didn't matter how many things went wrong this game for Hector, be it from his own mistakes or from his teammates randomly dying. He used his early lead well to consistently keep his CS numbers high, so he was always ahead of the curve in terms of itemization. This way, when he did have a chance to auto-attack, his opponents would get completely obliterated. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.